that you're here. If somebody could please text and let us know that we are live. I see the little countdown going. We had said that we were going to be starting today at 2:00 with our great friend, our licensed clinical social worker and certified EMDR specialist, Beth White. I'm so excited that she's here. Thank you, Beth, for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us today.
Hi,
A little background. I'm Joanne Archer. I founded Women's Own Worth in 2013. And at that time, we founded to help people get mental health therapy after they had suffered trauma. One of the first clinics that we spoke with was the clinic that Beth was co-owner of. And we're so happy and thrilled that Beth is here today after helping tremendous amounts of people after trauma get the help that they need. And she's a great friend and a wonderful advocate for women. She's been on the board for Women and Children First and just does so many things in our community. And here she is again, showing up and showing out to help you all and help me and everyone here in Arkansas and beyond to get through this traumatic time that we're going through. So we don't have to suffer so much and bond and have a little self-care motivation from Beth. So Beth, thank you for coming. And thank you everyone that is tuning in today. You can watch us on the replay anytime you want. She's allowing us to keep this knowledge up and live for people to refer back to. You might think and hear something that you need to hear again. So come back and listen to it again. Beth, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Joanne. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here with WOW again. I'm just amazed every time I tune into what WOW is doing. The amount of help that they provide to our community is just astounding. And Joanne is a jewel in our community. So thank you so much for the work that you do.
Thank you. We can't do anything without people like you. So I'm going to take it over to you and just let you provide us with some great advice on what to do through this time of need that we're going through. And so what some suggestions that you have and what our families and us personally can do for ourselves to help others.
All right. Well, the first and foremost thing you can do is take care of yourself because this is a wellness series for women. And as women, we tend to give a lot. We are giving to our jobs, our community, our children, our families, school, so many ways that we give. And so that's impossible for us to do if we're not taking good care of ourselves. And so during this time of uncertainty, it's important for us to take care of us. And so I see people, I do therapy through telehealth, through video screens like this, and I'm hearing a lot about what people are facing right now in this time of uncertainty. And so just to be able to take a breath and acknowledge how you're feeling. Some of us have extra stressors with kids in the house or not being able to leave our home and things like that. And so really, these are abnormal times. And what we need to do is acknowledge it's okay for us to have feelings about being crowded or having extra pressure. Sometimes there's a little undercurrent of stress in our day because things are a little different now. And so there's an acronym that I like to use, and it's called FACE. And that is to allow ourselves to feel what we're feeling, acknowledge what's going on. If we're a little stressed, that would be natural under these circumstances. Acknowledging those feelings is important. And we need to take time to care for ourselves as well. And so FACE is, I'm going to pull up some notes here. Focus on what is in your control. Because there are some things that are unknown right now. We have some uncertainty in our lives. And what we can control is what we should be focusing on, not the things that are outside of our circle of control. Acknowledging our feelings, making room for our humanness. And if we become stressed out, to come get grounded in our body, coming back to our body and just noticing, taking a deep breath, feeling how it feels to be sitting or standing where we are, and get grounded outside of our thoughts and feelings, getting grounded in the here and now in our bodies. That's really important if we're stressed out. And so
really great advice.
Yeah, what's that?
I said, that's great advice. I mean, really, when you just said, just breathe, and I like was listening and I did, and it's like, wow. Just, I mean, of course you're breathing, but it's like, just kind of let it go, right? Just,
That's right.
yeah.
We forget about that going on in the background all the time, this life-giving process of breath. If we can just tune in to just noticing our breath for a moment and gather ourselves to get grounded and centered when we're feeling stressed out about, what am I going to do with the kids? When are we going to be able to leave again? Do we have enough groceries and things like that? And so getting grounded in just being here, just being in our bodies is really important so that we can FACEE is engage fully in what we're doing. And so to do that, we're going to notice our five senses of what we're doing. Sometimes we do things, especially women with families, we multitask, which is not for emotional well-being. It's really not a great idea. If we can focus on one thing at a time, we do so much better. When we're doing more than one thing at a time, we're not doing either thing well. So engaging in what we're doing very mindfully by noticing, what I see as I'm doing this task, what I hear, how it feels. If let's say I'm working with an object, or I'm cooking, or I'm eating, I'm noticing the sensory experience of that activity. Let's say I'm doing work on my computer and my laptop, and I can hear the sound of the keys, and I can see the light around the computer, and maybe I've got music in the background. I can really drop in and tune into what I'm doing and engage fully without being caught up in thoughts and feelings. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me. I was thinking to myself to find something, because in this uncertain time, I try to find things too also that's going to help me and help my kids, and to get through this. And so even like finding something that's soothing to me, like cooking, I can bring them in and help them experience it. And then the cookies or whatever that we made after, it's an accomplishment we did together that we can enjoy together, whether it be, I mean, you think of other things that maybe you can feel that can help us with our kids, when they get, what do you think?
Oh, help with the kids when they're bored. Is that what your activities with the kids?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so we have a unique opportunity here to really connect with our families, and so I hear a lot about people doing things like building a puzzle together, things that would have been done before the age of technology, a way to really connect with each other. And so cooking together, you talked about making puzzles, playing board games, spending time in the yard. Just any activities that really allow us to connect, because we're so disconnected typically because of, our kids want to be on electronics, we're working from home, or we're, entertaining through technology. And that's cool too, is to go ahead and watch that movie on Netflix, or there are some interactive things that you can do with technology. But people are kind of falling back to that one-to-one connection. And I think we're going to look back on this time and see that there were some really important moments where we were able to connect with one another in a way that we didn't ordinarily. Does that, do you hear what I'm saying?
Oh, I hear you. And I love that the series is called Strong Her, because I think everything that you're saying that we can do is making ourselves be that strong her. And so after all of this, and when we're back to our everyday lives, we're going to be stronger because of this that we're going through. And thank you so much for helping us to think of different things, like you're saying, breathing and meditation, and
prayer,
getting outdoors. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's been great.
Right. And so Monica's comment about it being difficult to have grace for ourselves is so true. We, like I said in the beginning, we give so much to other people that we often become depleted.
Yes.
And so, the saying, you can't pour from an empty vessel, is true. And so I like the idea of trying to create a cushion in our account. So what that means is I don't know if you've done some budgeting and you want to keep a cushion of $100 or $500 or something in your account so that you don't become too depleted in your bank account. Well, the same is true for us as people and self-care. Um, we need, if we give, and we don't pay the bank back, we are the bank, then we become bankrupt. And so that is no place to operate from. We're exhausted, we're spread thin, and we're not as effective for ourselves and the people that we're caring for, whether that's our job or our family or our church or whatever it is. And so it's important to keep that bank account inside us to a point where we can function well. So we have to take that time and pay the bank back by doing self-care activities. And so what self-care looks like for each of us may be really different, but it's important to prioritize ourselves because, you know, we've got to have that resource. We are a resource for ourselves and for others. And so, like I say, self-care is important. So what does self-care look like? Well, the best kind of self-care is self-care that we schedule for ourselves, and it is a non-negotiable thing. I don't know if, Jawan, you're familiar with Brene Brown. She's an author and a researcher.
Yes, she's wonderful.
She is wonderful. I encourage our audience out there to check her out. She's written several books about courage and shame, and she has a Netflix talk. She did a TED talk that just skyrocketed her into fame. And so she's a busy woman. She is doing presentations. She is doing team building with large companies, writing books and things like that. And so she is constantly in demand. But what she does is she schedules 1 hour of each day as what she calls white time, white space. And she shares her calendar with her publicist, and he will say, "Hey, I see you've got an hour in here. Let's do this." And she's like, "No.
Right.
That's not negotiable. That is white time, self-care time for her."
So I would say, and I know from you, from this advice that you've given me in the past, is words of affirmation. If we can just take time today after we get off this online course to make yourself StrongHER, and do some little stick-it notes. If you don't have stick-it notes, don't go to the store to get them. You know, just use a notepad or whatever, cut them out and tape them up or stick them in little crevices that in your house everywhere. So, you know, as you walk down the hall and you just, you know, just walking down, glance down, pick that piece of paper up and read it. You're worthy. You're important. You're loved. You're needed. All these different things that you need to, as Beth said, pour into yourself to build that bank back up. And I know as I was reading what you had sent to us about, you know, taking care of yourself first, the first thing I thought of before I read it was the analogy of if you're on a plane, you have to give yourself oxygen first. And we always forget that, I always forget that because I'm like cooking, taking care of family and others outside of family, that because that's my passion and my drive. But then when I do it so much that I forget about me, I'm not that great of a help to others. So thank you for reiterating that. And
that's so important. It's not, and it doesn't, some people are kind of offended by the me first kind of approach, but think of it as me too. Right? We can't forget ourselves. And taking care of ourselves is not just feeding ourselves well, trying to get rest, taking medication as it's prescribed, things like that. But it's scheduling things just for the sheer pleasure or relaxation of it, like doing a hobby. If you'd like to paint or journal or write, or you want to read a book, you can do yoga or woodworking. Self-care can be taking a nap or spending time with your pets. It can be watching Brene Brown's TED Talk. Going to, I'm sorry?
Listening to music and
absolutely.
What other soothes your soul, right? And to me, it's to know that there's a higher power that's going to help me through this. So whatever that higher power is for you, tune into that meditate and take care of yourself so we can help take care of others, right? And if I don't know if there's any questions that have came up, but Beth has said that she would answer a few more questions. We're right at 15 minutes. We said that's what we wanted to take of your time. We hope that we've blessed you. I know that Beth has definitely blessed me. And thank you so much for Monica and for Catherine behind the scenes. They have totally made this happen with so many other volunteers that help us all the time. Our call to action to me would be kind to your neighbors and be kind to yourself first. And thank you so much again.
And we're so fortunate to be able to connect in this way. We had a comment about connecting through Zoom, and it's so nice that we can get together in this way. We don't have to be in the same room to be able to share our knowledge and our souls, our thoughts and feelings with each other. And so I'm really glad that we were able to put something like this together.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. We're going to have in the comments or in the event some tips that Beth has given us before we went on. And again, come back and watch the replay. We thank you so much, and thank you. God bless. And I love you, Beth. Thank you.
Love you too. Bye, Joanne.
See y'all later.
Take care.